Hashtag cold open. I stood 15 stories above a parking lot, coffee in hand, and watched the man I destroyed walk toward his truck. It was the only thing left on earth that he owned. And I just decided whether he'd keep it. Hashtag full script. My name's not important here. But the man I'm about to tell you about. Let's call him Joe. I have to call him something, because this is the story of how I systematically dismantled his entire life, and I witnessed the final moment from my office window. Joe was a wife beater. That's where this starts, because that's where it mattered most. I got hired by my client. He was Joe's ex-business partner, but more importantly, he was the brother of the woman Joe had beaten. My client wanted his day in court, and he wanted me to be his lawyer. So that's what I became. Here's the thing about Joe, he thought he was unstoppable. He'd lied and bullied his way through life before. He'd beaten his ex-wife in court, gotten a fat settlement, dodged child support entirely. So when we took him to trial, he figured the same playbook would work. Lies, intimidation, a little perjury, easy win, right? He was wrong. I won that judgment. And it was big, bigger than Joe could ever actually pay. But that didn't stop me. See, Joe had made a critical mistake. He never lawyered up. Not until the process server threw the papers at his feet. By then, it was already too late. Most people, when they know they're about to get sued, they hire a lawyer immediately. They protect themselves. They hide assets, they structure things carefully. But Joe thought he was too smart for consequences. So I went through his finances like a meat grinder, and one by one, I took everything. His bank accounts, gone. His investments, seized. His vehicles, his business interests, liquidated. I took it all, and Joe had nothing left except one thing, a house. An old house. And he'd rented out the upstairs to tenants while he lived in the unfinished basement. That rental income, those rent checks, that was keeping him alive. For a while, he thought he was clever. He'd put the property through a numbered company, thinking I'd never find it. But I have investigators. Good ones. They found him one day, followed him home, and that was that. Fast forward a couple of years of court battles, Joe representing himself now, trying desperately to convince judges that his shell companies and his fraudulent conveyances were legitimate, and I broke through all of it. I got the house. One day Joe stepped out to buy cigarettes. When he came back, the sheriff had changed the locks. Everything he owned was gone. The tenants were packing. The house belonged to my client now. Joe's lawyer, a pro bono guy, because at this point Joe had nothing, he called me. "Can my client at least live in the basement?" he asked. I could see his office window from mine, across the parking lot. We were close enough that I could have waved. "Ask the purchaser," I told him. "It's out of my hands." But we both knew what that meant. Joe wasn't getting back in. So now Joe had lost his house, his business, his cars, his cash. The man who'd owned property all over town. He had exactly one thing left on earth, his truck. This big, beat-up, gas-guzzling beast of a thing. It was too old and too worthless to bother seizing, so I let him keep it. And honestly, I was glad I did. Because the truck became his home. Joe slept in that truck. That's where he lived now. Until he made the mistake of going back. I got a phone call from the new tenants one day. He came back, they said. He parked his truck across the driveway. He's completely lost it, just blocked the whole thing in a rage and said he'd be back to sleep in it later. "Can you get around the truck?" I asked. "No. Not at all." So I called one of my old contacts from my criminal law days, a tow truck operator I'd defended years ago. "I need a truck moved," I said. "But I want it parked somewhere very specific. Somewhere my instructions say it should go." A couple hours later, the truck was gone. The next day, pro bono guy called me back. His voice was tight. Controlled anger. My client wants his truck. Not happening, I said. You don't have the legal right to his truck. And he doesn't have the right to block a man's driveway, I told him. I was standing in my office, 15 floors up, looking down at the parking lot below. It was a strange feeling, pronouncing words that stripped away a man's last possession. It felt like what God must feel like, I thought. Standing high above everything, taking away a man's final asset, before sending him to hell. Pro bono guy tried to argue. He said they were going to court, that his client was coming in the next day to sign an affidavit, and they were going to fight this thing. Do what you gotta do, I told him, and I hung up. But here's where it gets interesting. The next morning, bright sun, 9 o'clock, I'm standing at my window with my coffee. My phone rings. It's pro bono guy. And his voice. It's shaking. Why didn't you tell me that Joe's truck was parked right outside my office? I looked out the window. There it was, Joe's truck, parked right outside pro bono guy's building. 15 stories below me. Is that so? I said. How careless of my bailiff. I really must speak to him about this. This isn't funny. Actually, I interrupted, your client's not going to sue. He's going to get in that truck and drive away. Right now. My tow guy filled up the tank. Oil change too, gratis. Tell your client to get in his truck, start it up, and drive off. And tell him if I ever see that truck again, I'm seizing it to satisfy the rest of my judgment. Pro bono guy tried to argue, but I wasn't having it. I was firm. Final. Then I put the phone down and picked up my coffee again. A few minutes later, I watched from my window as Joe walked out of pro bono guy's office. He walked across the parking lot toward his truck. And I noticed something, there was no bounce to his step anymore. The joy had gone out of him. The swagger, the confidence, the sense that he could bully and lie his way through anything, it was all gone. Joe got in his truck. He started the engine. And he drove away, this ancient, beat-up vehicle pouring smoke from the exhaust. I'd stripped that man of everything. His house, his business, his assets, his dignity. And in that final moment, when he had nothing left but a truck, I'd shown him that even that last thing was only his because I'd allowed it. Because I had the power to take it away, and I'd chosen not to. He never came back. I never heard from him again. That was nearly a decade ago, and I've ruined plenty of other people since, people who deserved it, people who didn't, people somewhere in between. But Joe was the only one whose final ruin I watched from on high. And standing there, watching him drive away, I understood something about power that I'd never quite grasped before.